I'm going to be doing some plantain wraps today. So I have my plantains boiled and mashed. This is 2 plantains boiled and mashed. Oatmeal flour. This is regular flour. Okay. All-purpose flour. Oatmeal. I just put the oatmeal in the bullet and blend it out to a flour consistency. I'm gonna add this in. Then I'm gonna add some flaxseed powder as well. And none of this is measured, guys. Just pour until the ancestors tell you it's enough. You have that connection? All right. So now, plantains. We're gonna knead it into the flour. In the beginning, I'm just gonna cut it in with the spoon before I dip my hands in. All right. So I mix as much as I could with this wooden spoon. Now I'm gonna turn the mixture out and try to form a dough ball. Oh, I still have a lot of dry flour. Hence no mixing. No, I'm measuring, right? Now I'm gonna this is my first time doing this. So this is trial and error. I'll see if there's enough moisture, or if I'm gonna be adding a little bit of liquid, which it would be water, to this dough if it gets too dry. But for right now, I do have enough moisture with the plantain. So let's see if I can create a nice dough out of this plantain, mashed plantain with flaxseed, oatmeal, and regular all-purpose flour. Look. Okay, all these little moist areas, you have to get flour in them. I don't know. Or some demonic. I don't know if all that's necessary. Wasn't he outside? Put the heel of the hands in it. and get all that flour together. Yes, see my planting dough here. Okay, so I'm gonna let this rest for about a half an hour, and then I'll come back.
You know, like she was the weirdest job in the world because, like, as a publicist, your job is to get press. As a publicist, my job was to make sure she got none because she was getting such bad press.
Oh, really? So she had this larger than life star power. Like you said, you couldn't push her around. You would just be like, okay, wait, whatever you want. And your job was to make sure she had no press. So where do you think the rumors came, or this image that Bobby Brown was like taking advantage of her and led her astray and all this stuff? Where do you think these rumors came from?
Well, because, you know, she had to deal with a career that was declining. It happens to everybody. You know, and her voice started to get frail, and she wasn't as powerful because she wasn't, you know, working out like her voice. She wasn't like taking it serious. Like she made it, she was done. She just wanted to chill. She wanted to have her life. She felt like she gave all her life, and now she wanted the rest of her life for herself, and she deserved that. So, you know, people would force her to go on tour, which she didn't want to do. People would force her to do things, and you know, she would do it, and it would get bad results. And then there was the drugs, and she would be in places high, and you know, she was, you know, getting in trouble for drugs, and so.
It's interesting you say that. So that TV show, did you ever watch the reality show Being Bobby?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you think that was pretty much spot on with their relationship, the way they actually did seem like?
Yeah, for sure. For
So
sure.
it's interesting you say that. It's almost like, from your point of view, again, and this is from what you've seen and heard, from your point of view, it's almost like the pressures of having to constantly be a commodity and perform and do things she didn't want to do played more role in her turning to substances than her relationship with Bobby Brown.
Absolutely. Like, people would always say that, you know, it was her that, you know, got Bobby into drugs. It wasn't the other way around, you know, because he had like the bad boy thing from, you know, he was marketed that way with My Prerogative, and he was marketed that way with, you know, being that guy. But he was a soft R&B cat, you know, from New Edition. You know, she's rough, Jersey girl. You can see stuff. I love Whitney. You know, it's sad.
Tell me when you say like Jersey girls. Describe it to people that's not from Jersey, because Jersey women are some of the most lovable women. They will be there with you through thick to how, from the outside looking in, we see something completely different. You know, they
Right. Looking bad for the Michael Jackson show, she was very, very skinny. Right. So, like, before she passed away, she was a joke. Record sales were tanking. We were losing tours. Wasn't a good thing. So if I was like, I worked for Whitney Houston then, it was kind of like, oh, okay, she's a has-been. You know, she's a drug. Now, then when she passed, she's iconic again, you know, and she gets her flowers like she should when she didn't get them when she was alive, which is sad.
Definitely.
You know?
It is sad. That is the whole thing. People give you your flowers when they lay them, when you're laid to rest. And oddly enough, I was thinking about this when we were chatting earlier. Whitney Houston actually, she was before her time. Her personality, her wit, her this, her that. She would have been, I think, a megastar on social media. What do you think about that?
For sure, because she could have just sang. No music, a cappella, just right in her phone and over. You know, she was that good. She's got one. John Houston Entertainment was hugely involved in the beginning of Rihanna from the business side in the back end, which is really sad because that's left out of the legacy of hers. And she might not even know it, but you know, the producers had a relationship with John Houston, the producers who put together the song, the infrastructure that was in place for her. You know, it was amazing. There wasn't any kind of budgets. There wasn't any kind of money, but you knew that this record, Ponde Replay, was it. It just had something special about it.
I didn't know that Mr. Houston was involved. I remember always reading that Andre had walked into an office and been like, "Don't let this girl leave until you sign her." And Jay-Z was like, "You're not leaving until you sign." Where did that mythology come from? Why do you think that's the narrative that took hold?
It's funny because that's not true, you know?
What happened then?
And I can say that because I was there in the very beginning. Now, maybe that happened like afterwards, you know, but in the very beginning, you know, she's an unknown artist. She's 16 years old. You know, Jay-Z had just became the president of Def Jam from Rockefeller, and he was going through this drama with Dame Dash, right? You know, leaving the company. It was shocking. He had all these new artists. He was more focused on Tierra Marie, and he was trying to sign this artist named Lady Silverine in the UK, a white female rapper. And so she wasn't, you know, on the priority list, as she shouldn't have been, because she's a new artist, and he's looking at every artist the same. You don't know who's gonna break. You know, you don't know who the public is gonna gravitate towards. You know, he wasn't thinking it was her because she was very shy, very reclusive, very like she almost seemed unsure of herself. But when you were in a room with her, it's like all eyes on her. Like, who is this? She just had that thing. You know, with like Nicole Scherzinger, like she did too much. You know, like me and her used to fight all the time, but you know, she did too much. She's like in your face, like, "I'll sing you. Let me sing you my new song," and blah 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 blah. Like so much. Rihanna wasn't like that. She was the quiet one in the corner, just observing.
Was she really? So was she very? She was quiet. She was shy. Do you think she was easily moldable, or did she have like a strength? Because
And for us getting a quote, that was going to put Ponde Replay in TV news, and they would give her video consideration. So that was a big deal. So I was like, this is game over. We can break right now. All we need to do is Jay-Z. So I was reaching out to Jay-Z for a quote. Like, give a quote. Because it was like game on. You know, and Jay-Z just wouldn't help. There wasn't social media. MySpace was a thing at the time. MySpace was, you know, the thing that was popping. You know, so
play out in court. Just a very vanilla, PC. How hard is it to say we stand with victims and we hope any victim gets their day in court? Why do you think they haven't come out and said anything?
Because Jay-Z doesn't stand with the victims. He stands with his partners, R. Kelly, Diddy, and Weinstein, in my opinion.
Ooh, this one
Obviously,
ripped.
like, you can judge a man not by their talk, but by their walk, and their conduct is that he's standing with his friends.
When you say Weinstein,
He hasn't spoke out, but right. Do you know what the